What is good, everyone? Welcome back to Cleveland Sports Unfiltered. So today, the Browns released their 2026 schedule. The theme was a archaic Street Fighter game theme. It was pretty dope. If you grew up on that, like how I did, you would appreciate that. It was like some throwbacks to the early 2000s arcade games where that those times was dope as fuck. I liked it, and a lot of people not gonna like it, and a lot of people not gonna understand it, but I liked it. But the schedule is out, the opponents and where we will be traveling is out. Um, we have one primetime game, and then we're gonna talk about the schedule. So we start off at Jacksonville, and we start off at Baker's for week 1 and 2. Week 1, we're at Jacksonville, and week 2, we're at everybody's favorite quarterback who we just can't stop talking about, Baker Mayfield, um, which will be very interesting because I'm not from, obviously, I'm not from those states, but just telling from the watching those games usually around those times be like uber extremely hot. So the Browns are gonna have to deal with that. You guys, your cardios and you getting all your stretches in to make sure nobody is cramping up. To be ready for that. You have to be ready for that. But then the Browns come home for a week 3 game and week 4 game at home. We have the Panthers in week 3, and then we come back on a short week that following that same Thursday for Thursday night football against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we usually beat. We usually beat them. The Pittsburgh Steelers have lost like a shit ton of Thursday night football games straight, and most of them have been to our Cleveland Browns. So that's a game I'm really confident in, that Thursday night football game. But then you travel on the road to New York, and then you also travel on the road to Baltimore. I mean, no, not on the road. Excuse me. We travel on the road to New York to go to face the Jets. Then week 5, we're at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Then 3 straight weeks, week 7, 8, and 9, we are on the road at Tennessee. We the schedule makers did exactly what I wanted. We get that at Pittsburgh lost out before the bye week. Now I know. I'm not. This is not a schedule game. I'm not going to say who we were winning or losing against. But me personally, I count that at Pittsburgh game as a loss. That's just me personally. And if I'm proven wrong, I'll come back and admit I was wrong about the at Pittsburgh game. But the last time we beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh, not in the playoffs, the regular season, the last time we beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh, I just turned 4. So and I'm 26. It's been a minute since we beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. So we get the at Pittsburgh lost out of the way before the bye week. Then we're on the road at week 9 in New Orleans. Then we come home for 4 straight games. But in between that, we got at home. We're at home. Then we go on the bye week, and then we get 3 more straight games at home. So we go home in week 10 against the Texas. The bye week is week 11, which would be pretty crucial if we all know, because the Browns, I would say, have new spokes on the wheel on the offense, but the whole wheel is new. The whole wheel is new on the offense. Basically, like I said, we got like a few returning players, but most of the offense is new. So you really will want uh later bye week. I wasn't expecting to be this late. I was expecting more like week 9. But this is a good opportunity, especially the 4 teams you have after the bye. You have after the bye week. You have at the Raiders coming to town, the Bengals coming to town, and Kevin Stefanski comes to town. Then you're at the Giants. Not saying that all of them teams are pushover, especially the Bengals. That's a division game, and we all know how division games go. But we do all know how the Cleveland Browns, especially at Cleveland, Huntington Bank Field plays the Cincinnati Bengals, and we all know what we did to the Raiders last year. But they do have a different quarterback. Who knows who's gonna be the starter at that time? Whether they're transitioning to Mendoza or Kirk Cousins is still the starter. I think everybody always sleeps on that because everybody thinks it's just gonna be Mendoza because he was the number one pick, and they also signed Kirk Cousins too. So uh, who knows? Who knows? But they're not going to be a pushover. But that's not going to be an uber tough game. Again, you would think the offense would be starting to click after the bye week, and those that'd be a crucial 4 games to, work our way into playoff talk because those are not super tough games. Again, we know what the Raiders are. We all know how the division games go, especially at Cleveland. We always tend to split road and home. And last year was the reverse because both teams usually win at home and for the Battle of Ohio. But that flipped last year. Both teams won on the road. But that's going to be an interesting game because that high power, high flying offense, and you never know. Joe might be injured, total circumstance, and who knows? We may be going into a new quarterback switch, whether it's Watson to Sanders, Sanders to Watson, and God help us if we are not talking about either one of those guys, and we're talking about Dylan or Taylor Green, because if we talking about one of them, and instead of talking about how this is a crucial stretch to get into the playoffs, we're just gonna be doing the schedule. Should we tank talk? And I don't want to come on. I don't want to do any reaction videos pissed off about how they're looking like they're throwing games, and I don't want to get to that. You don't want to get to that. I don't want to get to that. We just don't want to get to that part. We want to talk about wins and playoff contentions. But for sure, those first 4 games out of the bye is definitely going to be crucial because they're all winnable games. Again, you got Kevin Stefanski coming in here in Week 14, right after you played the Bengals. You got Kevin Stefanski coming back. Some may say a Kevin revenge game because it is. He will be on the road. Um, who knows how that offense will be? Kevin does know the defense in and out, and vice versa. Our defense knows Kevin's tendencies and everything in and out. Now, not the DC, but the players who was all here firsthand knows Kevin's playbook in and out. Then you're on the road to travel to go and face the Giants. Who knows how they're gonna be because even though he's one of my favorite players, Jackson Dart, who knows his health because of his concussion situations. Man had like 3 last year. Who knows how they're gonna be? Then it's always tough at Baltimore. That is always a uber tough game for the Colts. You got at Baltimore, at home for the Colts in Week 17. Then to wrap it all up in Week 18, you're back at Cincinnati. Those 3 final games are uber tough because you got 2 division games and then a tough Colts team. So those 3 are going to be vitally crucial to whether we can make the playoffs or not. But those 4 games that proceed them, come before them, is very crucial because those games are really really all winnable games. Those games should be winnable, and depending on if the offense is clicking how I think it should be after the bye week, and maybe it's just a little bit before the bye week. Who knows? It may be flipped, and because I think the offense is going to struggle before the bye week. Then the bye week comes, they can get everything together, reassess, you know, not reinvigorate the entirety of the offense, but some scheme parts of the offense and come out and hit us on a stronger note. But who knows? We maybe come out the gate and the offense may be clicking, and the bye week may kind of hurt the offense. And who knows? NFL is any given week, man. It ebbs and flows. Each week is its own season. One week we're gonna be this team stinks. Trade this player. Insert this quarterback. Insert this wide receiver. Trade for that guy. Cut that guy. Then the next week, man, we're gonna be riding high. We can win the Super Bowl. Each week is its own week. Again, ebbs and flows of the NFL season. But all around, this is not uber obviously because if you look at the strength of schedule, this isn't a tough schedule, but this is a crucial schedule to making the playoffs if the Browns want to be a serious not contender but a serious contender to at least make a wild card, but those are just my thoughts on the schedule release, and I liked it. Again, I really like that we get that at Pittsburgh loss out of the way before the bye week. I know, again, that's just me, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't have any faith in anything about in Pittsburgh. But other than that, you guys let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. Let me know if you like the schedule or not. Let me know who you think that is a crucial stretch. Is it before? Is it after? What games you think we're gonna win? Hell, you could drop your win prediction and who we win against. But that's all I got to say. You guys know what I'm about to tell you. You guys ain't gotta go home. Y'all gotta get the hell up out of here. Until next time, peace.